So here we have population and sample. So let's say you have you have so far completed analysis of data on 75 people, 1000 people, 3000 people, and so forth. What happened, however, if you need to analyze a huge volume of data, such as like pertaining to 3 lakh or 5 lakh people? What 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 if you have to carry out these tasks, say, for all the Indians, right? So that is where sample and population comes into picture. Let's say you need to know the typical frequency of all the mall visit in urban India during the past year for a business application. 400 million, or you can say 40 crore people to be exact. Okay, so asking each people how many times they have visited the mall is not possible, right? So that possible, I mean that is possible only using sample. But what is the problem with population? So the problem is the process is expensive and time consuming. How can you find this number with less effort and expense, right? Sometimes it is more advantageous to determine the mean and standard deviation for just a small representation of sample rather than the entire population. Due to time, or you can say the financial restriction, you might be forced to do this. For instance, we want to figure out the typical commute time for a workplace with 30,000, or you can say 50,000 employees. We therefore polled 100 employees rather than the entire workforce, and discovered that the mean commute time is 35 minutes and the standard deviation is 10 minutes for them. So for example, the mean commute time for the office for 50,000 employee would be equal to 35 minute plus 3, and then standard deviation will be uh, you know 10 minute plus some minute with some margin of error. However, in order to find the margin of error, it would be necessary to understand sampling distribution, as there are some properties we need to find. For that we have to learn a central limit theorem and confidence interval. So basically the standard error of mean, or you can say simply standard error, indicates how much different the population mean is likely to be from the sample mean. It tells you how much the sample mean would vary if you were to repeat a study using new sample from within a single population. So the difference between population and sample is just uh, you know the number of sample size you are dividing it with. So here is the population formula and sample formula. As you can see here, we have used mu, that is population mean, and x dash, that is sample mean, and what we are doing is we are dividing it by number of sample it has on population, and then for sample n minus 1, and that's the only difference. Okay, so let's understand it using one particular example that I have just told you. So you have 30,000 workspace in our office. Now you have to take 100 peoples to find out the commute time in between them. Okay, because we don't have time to collect data from 30,000 employees, but we can do it for 100 employees, right? For that reason, uh, this particular uh, I mean basically sample will work for us. Okay, whatever the value of sample comes, we will be estimating that as a uh, a value that will help us understand what is the mean response time, or you can say the standard deviation of that value. Because what will happen if you want to calculate it for population, so for 30,000 employees, so that time obviously you will won't going to get the data in same day. It will consume so much time. It will consume you know like a 30 days work, because some people are busy, some people are um some are on business things. So obviously these will not going to help, because they are time that is precious for your business, and then there are some people who are not constrained for this type of job. So for that reasons, we might go for sampling distribution, because it is easier to check check for 100 employees what is the commute time. Obviously, I mean, we can't be 100% correct, right? If we are doing it for sample, obviously for some the commute time is 10 minutes, for some commute time is 100 minutes. Like that, there is some error, that is we call it a marginal error, or you can say standard error. Okay, and we will be seeing that soon enough. But just remember that it will tell you how much the sample mean would vary if we were to repeat the study using new sample from the single population. So basically standard error will help us get the mean, or population mean, which likely to be a sample mean, and what is the error that is in between them.